What's up, everyone? Josh White here. Just got done talking to one incredible airman, Cailey Brislin, the creator of Letters to Lackland. She's stationed out at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas, and she remembers how lonely certain times in basic training felt. Leaving your family and friends, losing that sense of community, and being stuck with a bunch of strangers while a bunch of TIs yell at you. She remembers how much those letters meant to her and that not every trainee received one. Well, she has made it her mission that all of them do. She started writing them herself, and then it went on to her base, and then multiple bases, and pretty soon, everyone from around the world had started writing Lackland Air Force Base trainees letters of encouragement. It's something she continues 1 year later. Chief Wright gave her a shout out. Chief Bass gave her a shout out, and she was coined by her numbered Air Force command chief. She is one of the most humble, caring, and empathetic airmen I've ever come across, and I think we are so blessed to have someone like her in our Air Force. I'm proud to serve with her. Not only is she changing lives and being there for people, but she did it as a brand new airman. She took this idea and made it global. So in this episode, you're gonna hear how she created this amazing program and how it's impacted her life. Let's get after it.
You know, I've heard airmen say, well, I'm just an airman. And they've got these great ideas. They've got these killer ideas that honestly, I think can bring some serious change to either the workplace, really your personal life sometimes, and even just the Air Force in general. And when I hear that, I'm like, okay, but you're an airman. You're not just an airman, you're an airman. Like, we're here to make stuff happen. We're here to get it done. And as far as taking risk, you know, if you're not taking the risk, there's not going to be a reward. If you don't like take that leap of faith, okay, you might fall, but you have something to catch you and you got something to build off of. You got a foundation to keep building up and up and up. It didn't work the first time. Well, here's 10 more times to try it out, you know? So, you know, I've heard people say I'm just an airman, but you're right. We're airmen, but that's what we're here for. We're here to make changes. And so I don't know what hit me, but I'm sitting there, I was talking to my friend, Airman Cummings over at Kirtland Air Force Base. She's one of my best friends from Texas. When we were talking, I said, wouldn't this be crazy? What if we wrote letters to the trainees? What if we gave them support during that time? Because, I thought about how in B&T there were girls who wouldn't get letters, and they tried to make it look like it didn't bother them, but you can tell when mail calls coming up and, they're not really receiving anything. It's just kind of sad. And I felt really bad. So, I know a lot of people had their parents write to them and stuff like that. And just to see the smile on their face when they finally got their name called, they're like, no way, me. So I was thinking about that a lot, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I can still do this. In the last year of because at that point I was just in the Air Force for almost a year. I was coming up on my 1 year, back when I created Letters to Lackland about a year ago. And I was like, I've learned so much. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot this past year. I have a lot I'd like to pass on to the next airman. I have a lot that I want to say. And if I can help them out in any way, that would mean more than anything. So within that week, yeah.
And darn it, if I didn't like those letters from church, I can't tell you how much those helped me. Those truly got me through it. You have no entertainment, you have no TV, you have no music, no phone, you have nothing. Those letters are all those things to you now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That letter is basically your next episode on Netflix. That's what that letter is to you in that moment. Like, oh, what's going to happen?
I just started planning it out. I said, how am I going to do this? What's the best way to go about it? And at that time, I didn't have a whole lot of resources. I didn't know where to even begin. So I just kind of took a leap. And in the Air Force, it's the Air Force Basic Training page on Facebook. I posted, I said, I introduced myself and I said, hey, if you have a trainee who is at Lackland right now, I would love to write to them. And then boom, within like 10 minutes, someone responded.
Is this like week 2 that it picked up like that?
By the end of the first week, going into week 2, it picked up like crazy.
Wow.
And I was like, I was just as shocked because I thought I just had an idea, because I was in the mindset. I used to be in the mindset, like, I don't know what's going to happen. But let's go ahead and full send it. Let's see what happens. Let's see where this goes. So it took off, and it got really big, really quick. So then I spoke to Laughlin Public Affairs, And that was like my first real taste. I was like, okay, this just shows that what I'm doing is working. You know, what all these airmen did to come together and help me is working. So they did a story, I want to say it was like week 2. They did a story about letters to Lackland. You know, within the next couple of days, I got a screenshot sent to me from Lieutenant Parks over at PA, and she was like, "Hey, Brislin, did you see this yet?" Air Force Magazine picked up on the story and blew it up even more. And I was shocked. I was like, that's not me. Is that me? Are you serious? Yes. This is from May 30th. So this was right after the program, about a month into the program, right? So this is like my first letter where it was sad. This is something that I wasn't expecting, because, you know, when she would write to me, it just seemed like, oh, she got it. You know, she's getting it. She's going to make it happen. And, you know, some unforeseen circumstances came up, and this was the first letter that said, "Hey, here's my home address. I'm going home." So